In this tutorial, we're going to talk about how to clean up those tangled mesh on your objects. You probably have seen these kind of mesh on your object or other people's objects. The mesh on this plane doesn't look positively elegant. On object with this kind of untidy mesh may cause some problems when it comes to applying textures or animating your object. So it is important to keep the mesh of your object clean, tidy, and organized, and have all four-sided, quad-faced faces. You must be familiar with the Insert Edge Loop tool. The Insert Edge Loop tool lets you select and then split the polygon faces. And we know that this tool works with only four-sided faces. The Edge Loop tool doesn't work on here because it's a triangle. Works here. So as you can see, the tool works with only four-sided faces. Like here. Here are all triangles. As you can see, it doesn't pass through. So it works with only four-sided faces. Alright, let's clean up this mesh. You can select the edge and delete it. You can delete, or you can use the delete edge tool. You may also delete vertices in order to delete all unnecessary edges. Okay, I'm gonna go to vertex mode and then select the vertex. If delete key doesn't work, you may hold down Control key and then hit delete key again. And don't forget to delete those are leftover dots after removing edges. Here's another one. Highlight and delete. And then select this dot, Control delete. Or you can use that tool, delete edge or vertex. Okay, now we can go to edge mode and select the edge, delete, and then we're gonna go back to vertex mode again, and then make sure that you don't have any redundant vertices. Okay, now I'm gonna select this multi-cut tool and connect in between those two vertices. Okay, 3 times. Okay, now I'm gonna select the Insert Edge Loop tool again and then click right there. You see that it works perfect right now because we have only four-sided faces. Okay, now I'm gonna align those edges by selecting and then moving so that the mesh of this object looks cleaner and neater. Okay, good. Let's move on. Next exercise. Okay, as you can see, this object consists of all triangular faces. If you hit 3, you will get this kind of form. Okay, now I'm gonna hit 1 again. Okay, you may understand that the Insert Edge Loop tool doesn't work on this mesh. Select the object first and then go to mesh, and you will see triangulate and quadrangulate. Of course you should select quadrangulate. Okay, simple. All faces are four-sided, quad-faced faces. Okay, let me hit 3 again. Okay, so we got this kind of form, but if you like to have kind of nice and elegant and hard edges around this object, you will need to add additional segment by using the Insert edge loop tool. Okay, one on the top, the other one on the bottom. You will need to add a few more inner segments. I'm gonna add 2 more segments on both sides, left and right. So as you can see, the insert edge loop tool works perfect. Okay, you need 2 more on front and back. And then hit 3 again. Okay, good. Okay, move on. Next exercise. Here is another object with the mesh cluttered, untidy mesh. So let's try to fix this mesh. Okay, the mesh of this object has several problems, like a disconnected, line, edges, and the triangles, and then misaligned edges. Okay, I'm gonna pick up the insert edge loop tool and click in here. It passes through all 4-sided faces, but it stops. It didn't pass through whenever it hits non-4-sided faces. Okay, let me click here, and then I'm gonna rotate this. It stops because the next face is non-4-sided faces. I think this one is 5-sided. Yeah, more than 4-sided faces. That's why it didn't pass through. It also stopped at the tiny triangle. Okay, I'm gonna select that edge and then delete. Okay, then you can delete more edges. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can double click and delete. But the problem is, even if you delete those edges, you have those leftover vertices. So select those edges again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you can use delete edge or vertex, or hold down Control and hit delete key, and then you won't have those redundant vertices anymore. Okay, here is misaligned lines. Okay, before that I noticed that there are 2 more vertices that we don't need anymore. Select them and delete. Okay, now we are going to align those misaligned lines by using a target weld. So just to drag it. This tool is very simple too. Of course, you can select those vertices and hit W. And then, okay, before moving those 2 vertices, activate the surface transform constraint first. The transform constraints in the modeling toolkit let you slide components along the edges or surface of the active mesh. It prevents from your small mistake, like moving the surface upward. So when you're dragging a vertices, always activate surface transform constraint. So even if you drag that yellow arrows, it won't move. Okay, let's see. Okay, I noticed that there is another misaligned lines. So you can select the target weld as we used earlier. Now both vertices merged into one. Okay, now I'm gonna select these vertices and including the other one, 5 vertices, and to make sure that you have activated transform constraint and move it to the right. Okay, you can fix those, the vertices position. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but try to make the mesh of your object as nicer as possible. And we'll need to use multi-cut again to connect in between these 2 vertices. Okay, you can fix that, the position of the vertex. Okay, good. And then I'm gonna select the insert edge loop tool and add new segments. It should pass through all the way around, because all faces that we have on these objects are four-sided. Everything is four-sided, quad-based faces. And then I'm gonna go to face mode and then select all the faces from top of this object, and then extrude. Okay, bring those 3 arrows to the center and modify a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna select all the faces from top. And the scale tool and the move tool. We should uncheck transform constraint before moving those selected faces, and then scale to a little bit. Okay, so now we got the Japanese bento types of an object. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys later.